I'm an organizational anthropologist.
Right.
And what I did is I went back in time and I started to study how people formed community 6,000 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And in the beginning, let's say you were in the caves and you were going to take a child who was 13 and help them become a man. The ritual to do that would be to go through the cave, look at all the pictures and paintings with your fire. You know, you would walk through. The adult would describe the community and what it was all about. By the time the young boy got to the other side, then he now became an adult. And literally his brain knew to become an adult. I mean, it's a really fascinating thing. Rituals activate higher levels in the brain.
Rituals change our brain.
Yes, they do. They do.
And, our brain, when you say our brain changes, it means our perceptions of reality get altered because of a ritual?
Yes, let me give you a story.
Yes,
okay.
Please.
So first let me start with the story about my son. My son was bar mitzvahed when he was 13, and we had 250 people in the room, and I wrote a story about him. And in the story I talked about how Jacob had 1 foot in childhood and 1 foot in adulthood. What I was doing was replicating the old ancient ritual of a man growing up.
Right.
Because that's part of what happens, 1 foot here, 1 foot here. And metaphors help us grow, by the way. So I used the metaphor of 1 foot and 1 foot.
Were you saying this out loud to him, or just?
I was saying it to the audience.
You were? Oh, you.
This was my story to the whole audience.
I wish someone would have done that at my bar mitzvah. I felt so lost. Who are these people? Why are they saying? And I felt so disconnected at my bar mitzvah.
Exactly. And this is a time to be connected, to
to
God and to Judaism and so forth.
Right.
So I took this time to do a ritual, and the ritual was that when Jacob was younger, he used to get in trouble, and I told stories about how he got in trouble, and he stole street signs with his friends, and we got a call at 2 o'clock in the morning to go to the police station, you know, those kind of stories.
Right.
And yet, I said, and now Jacob is stepping into adulthood. And I described what adulthood is, and I said, there are parts of Jacob that sometimes his wisdom blows me away. I can't get enough of it, because at young ages, he thought about things deep, about fairness and about trust, and he would give wisdom to me. And so I said, so now that Jacob is becoming an adult, he's going to put 2 feet into his adulthood. So I finished a very nice story at the end, and 2 weeks later, I got a call from his teacher. Now, my knee-jerk reaction was, oh my God, what did Jacob do now? Right?
Okay.
And she said, I want to tell you something. I saw Jacob in the last 2 weeks put both feet into adulthood.
Wow, she said that.
She said that to me. She was at the right.
What was his action? Why? How
he stopped doing the things that where he got into trouble. It was as I described the part of him. We all have parts of us that are the aspirational parts that we grow towards, right?
Right.
As I described that part, Jacob saw that was the future that he wanted to become.
And a ritual like a bar mitzvah, or some kind of, I mean more, because that's become something else.
Yes.
But a ritual that affirms our act of transformation.
Correct.
Embeds that in who we are.
Correct.
And gives us permission to be different.
That's correct. And it gives us, it validates that that's enough of who we are, that we can trust, that we can bring that part of us out every day. Because, in other words, the young part wants to come out. It's the
because the community, though, is actually affirming.
It's affirming that adulthood as well, until we get reinforced, and the brain gets a lot of these rewards, which we know now are dopamine and oxytocin and all these great things when community gets together, and that reinforces certain behaviors.